Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be covering my top 5 personal favorite drift cars to use in GTA 5 Online. So these are going to be 5 cars that you can go ahead and use for drift builds, whether you are really inexperienced and you've never drifted before, or you're an expert at it and you want to just try out something new, test a new car out for a build. This is the video for you. So do let me know down in the comments at the end of the video, do you agree or disagree with anything on the list and all of that good stuff. But I want to say real quick before we get into it, if you do enjoy today's video, do make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing for more content like this. And I do have a Discord server if you ever want to do car meets, hang out with people or find people to play with. We've got over 3,000 members and I really think that you would enjoy it. Go check it out. All that out of the way, let's get into the video. So at the number 5 spot we have got the Willard Faction, which can be bought for 36 grand off of the Benny's website. Now this is going to be talking about the non-Benny's upgraded one because the one with hydraulics can't drift at all, but this is talking about the stock version. So as I said, it's 36k and it is an amazing starter drift car because it's just really weighty and it's very easy to get started with this thing. Okay, so you know, it's a little bit odd compared to some of the other cars, but it's really a simple one to learn. It doesn't need to take a lot of time to get used to the handling before you can start drifting this thing pretty well. I mean, I'm no expert, but you know, I got pretty decent at it after, you know, just a few minutes of messing around with it. Another good thing about this car is that it doesn't really need a specific tune to do any well with it. I mean, all I've really done with this is just lower it a little bit, like I've slammed it, and that's pretty much it. All the engine upgrades and whatnot are pretty much just maxed out and I'm off. The only negatives about this car, the cons, is that it can't handle bumps or curbs well at all because of its really low ride height, especially when you slammed it. So if you go ahead and you hit a curb or something, believe me, you're going to be flying with this thing. But besides that, it's a really simple, nice, easy to use drift car and I would highly recommend it. At the number 4 spot for today's video, we're going to be talking about the Benefactor Schwarzer. Now the Schwarzer is $80,000 on Southern San Andreas, or you can steal it off the street in North Vinewood. Now this car is really forgiving with its handling, so unless you have a turbo strapped to it, which makes it really hard to control, otherwise the car is really forgiving and it is great for beginners to use and try out. This is actually the car that I started drifting with and absolutely love the handling model. Personally, it just fits me so well, especially on my controller. Now a couple of things you're gonna have to keep in mind with this is that yes, with a turbo equipped, this car is very difficult to control at low speed when you're trying to drift. So if you do want to follow a guide on how to make a build that's really forgiving, top right corner or the description, you know, go check it out. But besides that, brake boosting or double clutching is really going to help you out with this car. So if you don't know how to do that, I will leave a little tips kind of guide on that, but you don't have to check it out right now. But double clutching will give you acceleration boosts at low speeds, which is really vital if you want to get those wider angles in this car, because while this car has got really forgiving handling, it tends to lose speed pretty quickly. So if you're not double clutching constantly to get those rear wheels spinning, you might have a bit of a hard time, but still another great car to try out, especially if you're a beginner. So go check this one out, tell me what you think down below. So the next car on our list is going to be the ZR380, and I'm going to be talking specifically about the Apocalypse ZR380, but all of them pretty much handle exactly the same. It's just visually they're different. So this vehicle can be bought off of the Arena War Workshop website for 1.6 mil at its trade price, or 2.1 mil at a normal price, which is already ridiculous, I know. And massive kick in the nuts with this one is you can't buy a non-weaponized version, which means this cannot be used in races whatsoever besides the Arena War ones. Just a massive letdown in my opinion. However, despite the kind of ridiculous looking body armor and you're not being able to use it in races, that doesn't take away from the fact that this thing is amazing at drifting. This thing you can hit massive angles with even at high speeds and keep good control of it, and it is a really fun car to just throw about at really any kind of speed you want. It's great at slow speeds and even quicker speeds, like, you know, it's a little bit more on the slippery side in terms of its handling, so it is a bit harder to control, but it is still fun nonetheless. And I would highly recommend, if you have the money to get it, to just pick one up and just try it out, because honestly this thing is awesome. Let's get on to the next one. At the number 2 spot, we have got the Bravado Banshee, which is based off of a Dodge Viper. Now this thing can be bought for 105k on Legendary Motorsport and is a pretty decent drift car in of itself, but when you do the Benny's upgrade, this thing takes another step up and is absolutely mental when you go for that. However, that might not be attainable for all of you, so the normal version is just as good as I'm showing here. I'm using the stock version without the Benny's upgrade. Both versions are really fun to drive though. They do need quite a bit of experience to be able to handle pretty well, because this thing is really tail happy, as a Dodge Viper should be, so it is going to be quite difficult to control. So I would not recommend this if you're just starting out, if you're a beginner, but it is pretty exceptional, especially with that brake boost. Only grievances, personally, I just don't like the $900 body kit. I just think it looks a bit odd, but personal preference. Let's get on to our number 1 choice. At the number 1 spot, we have got the Rapid GT. Now this thing is an icon among experienced players in the GTA 5 drifting communities, and it's so easy to see why. This thing is absolutely awesome and really fun to drive. The movement is so fluid with this thing, and it's probably the most fun out of any of the cars on this list. Now, not to say the others are bad, but necessarily the experience between that and this, it is a huge step up, so I'd highly recommend that you get yourself one of these. It's 132,000 on Legendary Motorsport, and this thing is really great because it can hit those wide angles so well with a little bit of help from brake boosting. Now, on the topic of this car, you are going to need to have a bit of experience with drifting to be able to use this to its full potential, because it is quite hard to control. I'm not gonna lie to you, but once you get the hang of it and you can tame this thing, it is going to be probably the most fun you ever have while trying to drift in this game. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's lineup. Tell me down below, what did you think of the list? Do you agree or disagree with any of the placements? Would you have changed any around? And what is your personal favorite drift car? Tell us down below. Now, if you do want to see more content like this, let us know down below and show your love for this by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Now, that's going to be all from us for today, but thank you all for watching and have a great day.